Paul Tudor Jones, one of the best hedge fund managers ever, is calling for a market crash. He says the US stock market is over 250% GDP, far above prior peaks, the 2000 and 1987 crashes. And he's calling for a 30 to 35% market correction to get back to average levels. I think it's a big correction here, especially considering the market's near highs or at highs. We're seeing stunning earnings reports. We're seeing volatility collapse. We're seeing crypto markets rally, which I think is a really interesting sign considering crypto was one of the first products to fall. And now we're seeing that catch a bit along with the rest of the market. It seems like the positive correlation by everything, aside from things like oil, which is down today, and the markets are just ripping higher. It's a really interesting call. And it's hard to imagine a situation like this happening, but we need to take a look at it, especially because bullish analysts like Tom Lee are still calling for 7,700 in the E-minis, and we're pretty close to that right now. We're just shy of 7,300 in the E-mini futures. So whether you're bullish or bearish, the options are going to tell us the story on today's edition of Options Math Check. We're going to take a look right now in the Taste Trade platform. So here we are in the Taste Trade platform, and we've got some analysis to do. Who's right? Paul Tudor Jones calling for a 30 to 35% sell-off, or someone like Tom Lee calling for 7,700 plus by the end of the year, or at least sometime this year. I think these two are very different things. I think if I were to give you an answer right now, I have to lean towards the bullish side, simply because there's so many analysts, there's so many things you can look at. But the market is always going to do what the market's going to do. It's always going to be the first mover. One of the things that stands out to me was prior to this huge market rally we saw when oil was at 115, what we saw on a very specific day was oil ripping up 10, 15%. It was when oil went from 100 to 115. The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 were selling off, and they were both down like 1.5%. And by the end of the day, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ rallied all the way back to being flat, and the crude oil markets were still up. So we had this inverse correlation with the crude oil markets and the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. And I think that was a really interesting point in time because it was a confusing situation, but it goes to show that the markets are always going to move first. Before the headlines come out, before it all makes sense, the markets are going to move first. And that's exactly what happened. The markets ripped from the lows of that day and basically never looked back. Crude oil has still been elevated, sitting around 100 right now in the M contract. And that's not something to scoff at. I mean, that's going to create inflation pressure across the board in a lot of different sectors. But the equity markets, if we were to just use that as the source of truth, the equity markets are telling us all signs are pointing to up and to the right. And there's not much to worry about outside of just this crazy growth and these crazy numbers we're seeing from some of these tech stocks. Apple just reported it's up $13 today. Huge move there, up almost 5%. Microsoft is recovering from lows. So it's not just the chips. It's not, the software selling. It's kind of everything ripping higher. And whenever I do these analysis, I think you really need to look at the vol futures. And one thing that's really telling to me, if we look at the vol futures watch list here on the left side, and I can pull it up here in the middle just to keep things front and center. If we look at the contango in these markets, we've got the K contract expired, but the M contract and the N contract, we've got a point of contango here, meaning the M contract is 1 point cheaper than the N contract. Then you look at the N and Q, there's still contango in this cycle, about 30, 40 cents. Then you look in the Q to the U, there's still contango in this cycle, about 40 cents. And then you look at the U to the V, and there's still contango here. So one thing to note is the market's not going to crash unless the vol futures are flat, they're heightened, they're up at like 25, 30, and specifically there's backwardation in the vol futures. It's one of the things that has really opened my eyes because we hear headlines all the time. We hear naysayers of the market. We hear the Super Bowls. But when you look at the volatility futures and you think back during these periods of time, you think back to COVID, you think back to the tariff situation of April 2025. You think back to the war just recently. All three of those situations, the vol futures were in backwardation and the markets were selling off. If we're to expect a 30 to 35% correction, first, we need to have some kind of sell off in the market that is substantial enough and consecutive to the point where the vol futures react, they flatten out, they get out of this contango, and they go into backwardation. So, again, if I were to choose one side just based on the vol futures alone and what they're telling us, not only for this cycle, but for all of these cycles, the fact that they're all in contango right now, all the way through the end of the year, I think says a lot about the landscape of the market that we are dealing with right now. Then you look at the spot VIX, we are sub 17 in the spot VIX. And anytime we've gotten into the middle to low teens in the VIX, it's been an up and to the right drift higher. We've had our periods of volatility, of course, we always will. But if the VIX is at 16, I can't say, that I'm expecting a market crash of 30 to 35%. Now, again, these are all living, breathing things. You have to keep your eye on volatility at all times because this will be the first thing that signals if the vol curve flattens out or even creeps into backwardation. We would have already seen about 150, 200 point sell off, maybe a couple days of that, which would bring us below 7,000. And I think if that were to happen, that's when, all things are on the table. And to the point of the call of selling off 30 to 35%, I think it is interesting to see, such concentration around these Mag 7 names. If we get a sell-off in the tech stocks, if we get a sell-off in the Mag 7 names, they are super correlated. They really have such a huge weight on the NASDAQ and S&P 500 that it could really create a toppling effect. And you could see continued selling, converting to cash, moving to things like gold, silver potentially. But yeah, I think right now it is all steam ahead, and we'll take a look at SPX and see what the options say here. But let's go to June, and then we'll go to December. But a 30% sell off for June. We're going to look at 7,700, and then we'll look at a 30% sell off. 7,700. Still pretty bid here, all things considered. In the money probability of 10%. Probability of touch is going to be about 20%. It's just double the out of the money probability of in the money here. So 20% chance that we get to 7,700 over the next month and a half. Pretty wild to consider. But the vol is telling us that the market is pretty complacent or fear-free right now. And if we look to the downside, of course, 30% to the downside, the probabilities are going to be very low. But that's going to bring us to, sub 6,000 would be wild. Would be wild to see indeed. What is interesting, though, is the probabilities are low here, of course. But just looking at 6,000 specifically, that's 1,200 points out of the money. That is less than 20% of a correction. But just to see, what would it take, or what's the probability, and really what is the option pricing telling us about the 47-day cycle in June? I think it's interesting to see that these are still so bid down here. $1,000 for a 6,000 strike put in SPX, where just 300 or 400 points out of the money to the upside, the option is trading for a similar value, $1,400. The probability here is cut in half, about 4%, but you can see that these premiums are all pretty flat. And this is representative of the put skew that exists in this market right now. If we were to go equidistant out of the money to like 6,900 relative to 7,700, you're going to see way more premium to the downside and a much higher probability as well. So the market is telling us volatility is calm. We should expect maybe an up and to the right drift until things change. But if things do change, we're clearly seeing the velocity of risk to the downside here with puts $300 or $400 out of the money as it stands, trading for multiples of the out of the money call here. So I think the market is telling us, yes, we shouldn't expect anything really too crazy right now, given the full contango in the vol curve, but the premium is there. If we were to see a downside move, the velocity of risk is priced to the downside. If we go further out to the end of the year, we're going to see a similar thing, but we have to account for the fact that longer out of the money options and longer call options have interest rates priced into them. So you'll see a little bit more premium up here at 7,700 relative to what we just looked at. But you can see these options are now pretty similarly priced. The 6,900 trading for 23 grand, the 7,700 trading for 22 and a half. But if we go down to 6,000, you can see there's still plenty of probability for a 15-20% sell off here. At least it's being priced in that way. But even further down the line, plenty of premium here for a longer term option. But again, I'm not expecting anything here. I think the June cycle will continue to show us put skew as long as the crude oil futures are elevated and as long as we have global tensions overseas. I think we're going to see that crude oil bid. And I don't know what to say other than the equity markets are just completely ignoring it. The equity markets have rallied significantly from the lows, and we just keep creeping higher. We're at all-time highs every single day for basically the last 2 days. And we hit that all-time high, the previous all-time high a couple weeks ago, and we just keep climbing higher on these positive earnings news. So with that said, we do have the ability to sell off violently because we've had such a crazy rally from the lows. We're up 1,000 points in a month. From the beginning of April, we were at 6,300. We're now at 7,300. So this could easily reverse. What goes up fast could come down fast. But as a result of this rally, we have flattened vol curves across the board. We got the VIX in the teens. And those two things specifically tell us there's nothing to fear until things change. So we would need a big catalyst. What is that catalyst going to be? What could it be? I'm really not sure. I feel like the market has priced in the risk of war already. We saw that priced in and happen in the E-minis from the 63 to 6,400 range where we fell to. But we have come a long way from there, and it feels like we may just keep climbing higher. But again, if there is a catalyst and you are playing for a 30% sell-off, before you do, I think you really need to see vol futures flatten out, get out of this contango. And again, if you see 150, 200 point sell-off in the E-minis, these vol futures are going to react a little bit, but I would want to see backwardation. I would want to see this M contract be a higher price than the N contract. And if we can get the N contract higher than the Q contract, that really shows us that the market is pricing in fear. And when the market is pricing in fear, that's when you can get that elevator down to the downside. So until that happens, I'm playing for up and to the right, drift higher. I'm still putting on some downside hedges here, but I got to say, I can't agree with a 30 to 35% sell-off, at least right now, based on what the vol futures are telling us. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to the Tasty Live YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the next Options Math Check.